Today in PA is brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Buy one window or door and get another at 40% off and $250 off your project too. That's at zero money down, zero payments, and zero interest for a year. Spooky good. Drop by renewalbyandersen.com for additional details. Offer ends at the end of the month. A judge is under fire following a fatal stabbing. In Pittsburgh, cracks in an airport parking garage have caused concern. Many farmers are feeling the effects of this drought. Lastly, you, Pennsylvania, are very generous with your Halloween candy. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in PA. Allegheny County Councilman Sam DeMarco wants the immediate resignation of Magisterial District Judge Xander Orenstein, reports the Tribune Review. And if that name sounds familiar, that's because this podcast has brought Orenstein's name up a couple of times before. First in 2023 when they released a New York man accused of bringing $1.6 million worth of fentanyl into Pittsburgh, who subsequently fled the region. Then again when Orenstein was barred from presiding over arraignments back in April after releasing on non-monetary bond a man who led cops on a dangerous high-speed chase. Recently, another suspect released by Orenstein, Anthony Casson, is accused of fatally stabbing Liquor Control Enforcement agent Benjamin Barlier while the latter was out on a jog on Monday. Casson was previously charged in connection to a mugging in Point State Park in 2023 and failed to show up for his arraignment. He is now charged with criminal homicide. Said DeMarco in pushing for Orenstein's resignation, quote, "The voters of Allegheny County need to be looking at the people that they put in these positions of power and trust, and they need to stop electing folks like this who jeopardize their safety repeatedly by letting dangerous people back on the streets." Orenstein could not be reached for comment as of the recording of this episode. A series of cracks have been found in the massive parking garage that's being built as part of Pittsburgh International Airport's billion-dollar modernization efforts, reports the Tribune Review. And Allegheny County Council President Pat Catena, along with the whistleblowers who had access to the garage that informed him of the cracks in the first place, believes this is a cause for concern. Catena expressed worries over the fact that if the garage is already showing problems, it could only get worse after it's open and people are using it. He's now calling on the airport authority to review the cracks and to provide a written report to the council and county executive Sara Innamorato by next month. Bob Kurlick, an authority spokesman, has, however, called Catena's concerns, quote, utterly unfounded. Hairline cracks tend to appear as workers prepare to apply a finish coat, he explained, and the structure otherwise shows no safety concerns. Maintained Catena, quote, "If this is how we move forward before this is even open, how long before these problems get worse?" For areas like Bucks County, this October is on track to be the driest month on record, states the Bucks County Courier-Times, and farmers are feeling the effects. This drought, labeled as moderate by a federal report, is causing farmers' yields to be less than half than what they should be. Crops like corn and soybeans are getting hit, and farmers are being forced to use up valuable time in order to water their fields themselves. A prolonged drought could also start to affect the water supply for drinking, too, and put a stress on wildlife. So please keep your fingers crossed that it rains by Halloween. You, Pennsylvania, are very generous with your Halloween candy, says PennLive. A coupon bird study has ranked the Keystone State as having a population that's the most giving with sweets on All Hallows Eve in comparison with the rest of the United States of America. Pittsburgh was the #1 city, too. And this is no small accolade, as having a good candy-giving reputation is very important. You don't want to be that guy that skimps on the candy, or worse, the one who gives out raisins or toothbrushes. Ugh. That's all, folks. For even more news, visit PennLive.com. And please remember to rate this podcast wherever you may listen to it, and to email me at todayinpa@PennLive.com, even if it's just to say, hey. Thanks ahead of time, and of course, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and I'll be seeing you for Friday's episode of Today in PA. Today in PA is brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Buy one window or door and get another at 40% off and $250 off your project too. That's at zero money down, zero payments, and zero interest for a year. Spooky good. Drop by renewalbyandersen.com for additional details. Offer ends at the end of the month.